Hi, my name is Priyanka. I am a psychology graduate from Delhi University and I had 96.6 in ZAT, and currently I am an HRM student at XLRI Jamshedpur. So during my HRM interview for XLRI, it was online. It happened on Zoom. It lasted about, I think, 20 to 25 minutes. So initially we were asked to introduce ourselves. I made sure that the kind of points I wanted to talk about were in my tell me about yourself. So I wanted to sort of drive my interview in that direction. So definitely my education, my interests, my inclination towards management and HR in general were some things that I wanted to highlight. So the first follow-up question I got was definitely in the why MBA sort of direction only, because I had shown my inclination towards psychology. So a general question was, why not pursue that ahead since you're clearly interested in that? And one of the things I brought up was how HR was definitely my favorite field that I was doing while I was in psychology, though it was a very short part of my curriculum. And I could just tie it along with the PORs I had held in my life, that these are the leadership experiences I had, that I had a lot of experience managing people, and I had realized the importance of HR functions while I was doing so. The kind of people you have in your team, selecting the right people, putting the right people together, giving them the right sort of training, orientation, onboarding, etc., can make a huge difference in the outcomes at the end. And while, I really made sure to stress my passion for the particular thing. And I think that sets you apart in an interview. If it's communicated well why you are doing something, if your story is knit together well, everything makes sense, and it is coming across as very genuine, that makes all the difference. So there were a few questions, behavioral questions centered around this: why I want to do this, how as a fresher do I think I will cope with an MBA, which is something a lot of freshers will come across, and that is absolutely something you can easily deal with. You can talk about the fresh perspective you will bring and why you feel that an education, formal education first, is more important to you. And so after that, questions carried over to just situational questions, talking about this are the kind of thing, if you are facing in an organization, what would you do? Or talk about what are the policy changes you think you can make in an organization, or what do you think is important? So that was something I definitely had a lot of thoughts over, so I could speak about that. So one thing I would suggest in that direction is, do not just giving facts and data is absolutely helpful. It shows that you are well read, that you know what is going on, but have an opinion. Even for something related to, say, general knowledge, which I was asked about recent news articles, some they asked me to tell myself what is some news I know from know of currently, and one or two topics they brought about themselves that were currently popular. And it does not do well enough if you just can repeat the facts. Have an opinion on everything. As future leaders, you are expected to know and also draw your own inferences and give your input into things. So my questions after related to general knowledge were generally followed up by, what do you think? And if this was the situation, what would you do? So the situational questions and general knowledge were sort of tied together. And that can definitely intimidate you, especially if you're like a fresher like me. If organizational based questions are coming up and you have never had a corporate experience, that can be tough, but try your best, be confident, and show reasoning for whatever you are saying and thinking. If there is structure and logic in what you are saying, that gets communicated, and that is enough, even if what you're saying might not be technically right. And then the last leg of my interview experience was around my education, like my graduation. So psychology related questions, how they tie into HR, very practical questions also, like, how would you apply certain psychometric tests in as an HR professional, and just like what would you see as in like the personality of an individual? What are the characteristics you would not want, and in what situations and what roles can you see these happening? So very core HR questions, quite related to my field of study. And yes, be very thorough with what you have studied in graduation, especially if you're a fresher, because that is what they will be judging you on. You should be very confident in what you're saying. You should be able to, again, make a link to whatever you have studied, whatever the subject is. It should flow seamlessly into what you are aspiring to do and what you're telling them. And if you're able to do that, then the interview will be a success.